Thank you for the opportunity to present in front of you today. I'll start without further ado. I'm going to present a comparison of the approaches of Hans Küng and Seon Master Daehaeng towards overcoming the global crisis. It will be just a brief talking. An example of global crisis is COVID-19. In December 2019, no one knew that COVID-19, first identified in Wuhan, China, would affect the world for so long. People thought it was only an epidemic that occurred in Wuhan, China. But between 2020 and 2021, COVID became the biggest issue in the world, and it demanded from us a sense of crisis, a recognition of the problems, a new paradigm. Therefore, humanity has needed a new change of perception. Today, I would like to take a look at how to overcome the current global crisis caused by material-centered expansion under the key word of life as oneness through two innovators who lived in the same era in Germany and Korea amid these new changes. Hans Küng is a late 20th century influential theologian and the most famous Catholic reformist. Seon Master Daehaeng was an awakened Buddhist nun who led the 21st century Korean Buddhist Reformation, which introduced the Buddhist practices into the daily lives of the public. Although Seon Master Daehaeng, who led the Buddhist Reformation, and Hans Küng, who cried out for reformation in Catholicism, were born in the same period, their upbringing, educational backgrounds showed great difference. I briefly compared their lives. Seon Master Daehaeng was born in 1927. Hans Küng was born in 1928. They had completely different childhoods, and they independently experienced the turbulent times leading to the Japanese colonial period, World War II, liberation from the two, and the Korean War. Although the world was in chaos due to World War II, Switzerland was a neutral country at the time, was not greatly affected by the war. Growing up in an environment of strong Catholicism, Hans Küng experienced the foundation for a new direction of perception by attending the gymnasium in Lutheran, the provincial administrative capital. The reason why this period was so important for Hans Küng was that he learned modern education and an open attitude with multi-religious classmates and gender-integrated education that was limited to the Catholic denomination. 남녀 통합 교육으로 근대 교육뿐만 아니라 열린 자세를 배우게 되었습니다. It can be inferred that this background was basis for Hans Küng's idea of economical unity and interreligious dialogue. In 1950, Seon Master Daehaeng received novice ordination with Master Hanmaum as a teacher, and the Korean War broke out. In the meantime, Hans Küng was walking the path of an elite priest. Hans Küng received a doctoral degree in theology from the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome and the Sorbonne University in France, where the best elites attend to become Catholic priests. In 1960, he became a professor in the Catholic Theological Department at the University of Tübingen, Germany. Now, perspectives of reformation and innovation. First, after becoming a professor at the University of Tübingen, Hans Küng raised his voice for Catholic reformation, and thanks to these activities, he was appointed as the youngest advisor to the Second Vatican Council. This council pursued the modernization and reformation of Catholicism, which was described as a dynamic, unprecedented, and unconventional event. However, the Vatican Church once again became conservative after the Second Vatican Council. Hans Küng called for reformation, for more openness in the conservative church. In 1970, he published Infallible on Inquiry, criticizing the Pope's infallibility, which caused a great trouble in the Catholic Church.
오류인가? 하나의 질문이라는 책을 1970년 출판하였습니다.
Because of this book, Hans and the Vatican debated for 10 years. As a result, he was stripped of his teaching position in the Catholic Theological Faculty at the University of Tübingen. On December 18, 1979, in the Vatican Congressional for the Doctrine of the Faith, he was officially banned from teaching Catholic theology while still being a priest. The case of Hans Küng's professorship annulment at the Faculty of Theology became the second Martin Luther. However, the University of Tübingen created a new affiliation of Professor of Theology directly under the University Chancellor. It let Hans Küng continue her tenure at the university and allowed Hans Küng to lead the Institute for Ecumenicism and Global Ethics. Seon Master Daehaeng, despite facing gender discrimination, isolation, and having to leave Biguni Sangha to practice on her own, Seon Master Daehaeng was enlightened through her own Seon practice and thoughts. Today, I'm going to talk about the innovativeness Seon Master Daehaeng showed. In this discriminatory society, the teaching of Seon Master Daehaeng and her way of Seon practice can be a symbol of the reformation of patriarchal society. Although Seon Master Daehaeng did not intentionally lead reformations and innovations, her actions and teachings changed the Buddhist system and methods that had been taken for granted and presented new values. The teachings and deeds of Seon Master Daehaeng show the value of innovation in the areas of practice, Buddhist rituals, and social leading value creation. The innovative part shown by Seon Master Daehaeng was not tied to traditional way of practice, but by practicing in daily life, translating the meaning of the scriptures into Korean, simplifying the rituals, and forming a choir of various Buddhist groups and ceremonies tailored in the class. It's in modernization. In addition, beyond the traditional role of Buddhist nun, she established methods of training, preached in public, and achieved gender equality through training bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, taught people to have faith in their fundamental mind, and established Stupa Park. Through those efforts, she created new cultural value and has had her teachings translated into other languages, founded overseas branches to globalize Korean Buddhism and converges Buddhism and science. Seon Master Daehaeng was continuing the Seon Buddhism of Korean with the principle of one mind, however, boldly throwing away the traditional way of practice, keeping hwadu or sitting meditation. She taught people to entrust things within their daily lives to their fundamental mind. She taught this to lay practitioners as well as her disciples. In addition, by supporting convergence with various fields, she has formed two axes, practice and research, in our daily lives. In the West and in the East, even though they grew up in different environments, even though they were men and women, both of them asserted that they need to believe in the spiritual realm, even though they had proposed different ways to tackle the global crisis.
대행 전사의
Now I would like to discuss Catholic proposal
불교의
and
영리적 제안을 다루어 보고자 합니다.
Buddhist proposal tackling the crisis.
세계 윤리를
Why did
제창하였을까요?
Hans Küng advocate global ethics? In postmodern world,
당시 한스킹이 세계 윤리를
people
지구 위기에 대해서 다음과 같이 생각하였습니다.
people are mourning and are under excruciating distress. The earth is rapidly being destroyed. People are isolated from each other and are scared. Children are also dying from starvation and diseases. Seeing this, Hans Küng saw it as the global crisis. In the modern era, where science, technology, economy, society have developed drastically, he said that our world behaved unethically, with discrimination, contradiction, and fighting leading to conflicts and wars. He thought that people dismissed spirituality and wisdom when science and technology developed rapidly. That's why the world became unethical for his whole world. Catholic theologian had tried to establish global ethics for spirituality and wisdom. He encouraged behavior to overcome competition, views, and isolation in technological development to benefit myself as well as others. In 1992, he published the Global Ethic Project, in which he demonstrated three propositions: no survival without global ethic, no world peace without religious peace, no religious peace without religious dialogue. Hans Küng meant that world religions, world peace, and global ethics complement each other. Therefore, the basis of ethics is religion, so he emphasized that the role of religion is important in ethics. World order can be maintained on the basis of global ethics. Although
이스라엘 아키바 토르 대사님도 이래서 이 한스킹과 생각을 같이 하기 때문에 이 지금
I
현실에서
think
일어나는 모든
Ambassador Akiba Toru have
사실
shared the
종교와
same
근간에 대해서
knowledge with Hans Küng,
답변이
I
있어서
guess.
어제 같이 연결이 좀 되었습니다. 각 종교는 상이한 교리 체계와
Although
상징
each
체계를
religion
가지고
has a
있지만
different doctrinal system and symbol system, it also contains universal common ethical points. The common ethical points of these religious truths overcomes the exclusivity, contradiction, difference, and inconsistency, and is the basis for proposing the standard of global ethics and can overcome contradictory and different fighting words. This is the reason why Hans Küng advocated the global ethic. The global ethic, Hans Küng argued, is not to establish a new religion or ideology. It's talking about the basic common value, common ethics that we achieve when we pursue harmonious coexistence. The unified ethical view of religions revealed by the Global Ethic Project refers that the well-being of human existence, basic principles of humanity, rational modernization, the golden rule, ethical motives, and goal setting. Hans Küng emphasized the golden rule and the basic principle that people should treat others humanely. The ethics required by all religions are in different languages and forms, but its underlying basis is human well-being for the establishment of human freedom and rights. The world religions have presented the basic ethics humans must abide by in forms of precepts.
여기서 보면 황금률에 대해서 이제 말을 하는데요.
Golden rule,
그 논어에도 있다시피
for example,
아까도 교수님 말씀하셨듯이 너
the
자신이
norm
원하지 않는
of
바를
don't
다른
do
사람에게
to others
하지
what
말라.
you wouldn't want to be done to you
보시다시피
is found in Christianity as well as Confucianism, Buddhism, and Judaism.
혹시 5층 법당을 다녀오셨는지 모르겠지만
I don't know, you have been to the 5th floor Dharma Hall.
오른편에 큰 스님
This
법문이
photo shows what Sun Master Daehaeng taught. This teaching is on the right side of wooden relief behind main Buddha statue on the 5th floor of this temple. By establishing the categorical norms contained in these world religions as the golden rule, it can be applied not only to religion but also to human society. Religion also provides an answer to the ultimate goal and meaning of life, so it becomes an ethical solution to overcoming anguish, failure, antagonism, conflict, or death. Hans Küng did not advocate the global ethic as a religious or theological concept, although it had a religious foundation. The restoration of humanity is the basis of ethics, and Hyeyou King emphasized that this inherent ethical commonality between all religions should be kept as a minimum principle. Religion's wisdom can provide absolute standards of ethics rather than regulation of political, legal, and social ethics. The regulation can change according to circumstances.
이 법률이라든가 정치, 경제 그런 사회적인 접근은 시대에 계속 변하게 됩니다. 그렇다면 우리 인간에 대한 종교, 왜 이 종교의 역할이 중요하냐면
why religion is so important? Because it provides absolute standards of ethics. So Hans Küng emphasized that. Hans Küng's global ethics initiative was a great sensation, and in 1993, religious leaders signed and adopted the Global Ethics Declaration at the Parliament of the World Religions in Chicago. It will even have an impact on UNESCO's enactment of the Universal Code of Ethics. The Global Ethics Principles proclaimed in the 1993 Global Ethics Declaration at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago were drafted by Hans Küng. Duty to non-violence and respect for life, duty to solidarity and a just economic order, a culture of tolerance and a duty to a true life, equal rights and obligations to mutual respect between men and women, obligation to sustainability and obligation to protect the earth. All human beings have the duty of global ethics for human rights, freedom, justice, peace, and conservation of the earth. Global ethics enables positive progress of human beings and aims to be truly human. True humanity is the presupposition of true religion. True religion is what makes possible the perfection of true humanity. Hans Küng stresses, in other words, all religions offer the way to the true human being. But real religion has two faces. Although it is a religion that brings ultimate peace, conflicts over religion are also taking place in reality. That's why Küng is extremely emphasizing that there is no world peace without religious peace. To promote religious peace through inter-religious dialogue and to bring out the progress of mankind, world peace through the categorical world ethics of religion, it's necessary to overcome the global crisis and lead the survival of mankind with the truth of religion. Now, Sun Master Daehaeng. Sun Master Daehaeng said, when people ignore the spiritual realm and accept only the material realm, then we encounter the global crisis. Furthermore, Sun Master Daehaeng said, 50% spiritual world, 50% material world work together. But if you know only 50% material world, you can't solve the fundamental problem because they try to solve problems only with material methods. As a result, the earth crisis crisis is further pushed to the brink without finding a solution.
물질 세계의 진정한 발전을 도모하려면 정신 세계를 알아야 함을 강조하지만 대행 선사는 정신 세계만 강조하거나 아니 물질 세계에만 집착하는 양극단을 부정합니다. 항상 정신계와 물질계를 함께 알아야 함을 강조하면서도 물질계와 정신계 또한 대행 선사는 공하다고 보았고 정신계와 공하다고 하였고 정신계와 물질계는 따로 있는 것이 아니라 일체가 서로 연결되어 상호작용하며 한마음으로 같이 작용한다 하였습니다. 그러하기에 한마음 속의 물질계와 정신계는 상대적 개념이 아니라 전체의 포괄, 포용의 개념으로 이해하여야 합니다. 정신계와 물질계가 연결되어 하나로 작용하는 것을
Some Master Daehaeng explained that the spiritual world and physical world are connected and work as one with her own practice, 공생, 공심, 공용, 공체, 공식. Briefly, I'll mention all of them.
내 몸속에도 많은 생명이 있기에
Look at your body. There are numerous life forms in your body. They are connected, function as one. So it's like using the same body as one, as the whole body is working as one. This is called 공체. Like your life, others' lives are connected through their foundation. They are not separate from each other. Therefore, they are called 공생, which means living together and functioning as one. Since the mind of all unenlightened beings and the mind of Buddha are not two, those minds are called 공심, whose minds are not separate from each other. All phenomena arise from one mind, Hanmaum. Through it, all are receiving and giving harmoniously. Through Hanmaum, everything of universe is living together as one. 공생, living together harmoniously as one, is an important keyword not only for Buddhism but also for us now. When we talk about global crisis, it comes up most often. Generally, finding the methodology of how to coexist in the main trial. In this approach, there lies a perception that we are different from each other. However, living together, some Master Daehaeng taught conveys deep and broader meaning than current trends. 공생, living together harmoniously as one, clearly shows the idea that everything is not two, that are all equal. Moreover, everything in the universe must be understood in an interdependent relationship. And it said that everything in the whole universe ceaselessly helps each other and takes care of for the sake of each other.
생각으로 인해 차별적 이분법 체계를 이루게 됩니다. 나라는 중생심만 벗어난다면
Look at the slide.
일체의 모든 작용은 서로 연결되어 상호작용하며 공존하는 것입니다. 공심으로 연결된 나의 몸은 만물 만생과 두란인 공체이며 나의 몸 하나에도 수많은 생명이 살고 있는 우주와도 같은 공체입니다. 그렇기에 오공은 사실 따로 분리해서 볼 수는 없습니다.
Some Master Daehaeng said that all beings have their foundation, Jingong, and through it all lives and bodies are connected as one, working together as one, freely giving and receiving all things. Because it emphasized the meaning of coexistence, it clearly reveals the dependent arising in which all things are connected to each other. Everything in the universe is ceaselessly changing, functioning through their foundation, working together and giving, receiving each other. There is no substance fixed permanently. It's called emptiness. Some Master Daehaeng has said that meaning means of embracing whatever you encounter and the functioning through one mind non-dually. Not only absorbing all, but also manifesting and functioning of its ability. The meaning of Gong is consistent with practice by some Master Daehaeng. The key point of her teachings about spiritual practice a lot of contents.
대행 선사께서는 이 지구 위기가 우리가
She
정신을
said
모르기 때문에
that
벌어진 일이고
we are encountering crisis because we don't know the spiritual realm.
지구 위기가 극복이 된다 하셨습니다. 그런데 그렇게 위기 극복을 위한 그 원리를 알려면 무엇을 해야 되느냐 하면
In order to know the principle, we have to practice,
있다고 하셨거든요.
and then we can understand the
간법에 대해서
principle.
말씀드리겠습니다. 주인공의 간법의 핵심은 주인공을 믿고 모든 것을 주인공에 맡기며 무엇이
The
나오는지를
essence
추적하는
is
것입니다.
to entrust everything you encounter to your fundamental mind, and then
용도대로 나오는
observe
것으로
what's
닥치는 대로
happening.
모든 것을 드리고 내는 공식과 뜻을 같이함을 알 수 있습니다. 주인공 간법은 50의 실천 수행 방법이라도 할 수 있겠죠. 즉 50의 도를 통해 지구 위기의 근본을 직시하고 해결할 수 있는 생활 속 실천 수행법인
주인공 is like a computer. If you input whatever you have according to your input, you will have the results. This seems similar to the idea that all things are connected as one.
화학과 공전에 대한 바탕에 자리하고 있습니다.
Now, Hans Küng, the global ethics of Hans Küng and the teachings by Seon Master Daehaeng are pursuing the path of true humanity through the recovery of spiritual realm. Furthermore, their philosophy is based on harmony and coexistence. Hans Küng tried to overcome the current crisis of the earth with global ethics, but some Master Daehaeng thought that when people become aware their inner fundamental mind, they can freely apply it in their daily life.
사상을 종교, 사회와 학문, 다양한 분야에 적용하기 위하여 Hans Küng은 세계윤리연구소와 세계윤리재단
Hans Küng established Global Ethics Institute, Global Ethics Foundation. Some Master Daehaeng established the Hanmaum Science Institute. Global Ethics Institute, based on the spirit of global ethics, currently conduct research on the confusion of global ethics in its academic field and tries to apply global ethics. Through many lectures and educational programs.
상호작용하는 길을 모색하고 있습니다. 또 흥미롭게도 세계윤리연구소와
And Global Ethics Foundation focuses on society and education. The Global Ethics Institute seeks to interact with the minimum standard of ethical conduct in religion, politics, especially in the economic world. Some Master Daehaeng suggested the science of one mind that combines the material world and spiritual world so that they interact and confusion as one beyond limits of the existing material science. Hanmaum science can develop new perspectives and methodologies by applying the principles of Hanmaum to the research on each academic field. Now, look at the slide. Most scientists think the material realm is everything as they are doing research. But from now on, we have to do research at a level that combines both spiritual realm and material realm. From scientific perspective, you might wonder how researching through a subjective spiritual practice could be considered scientific. But what I'm saying is that you cannot do fundamental research without knowing your fundamental mind. Without this foundation, you will not seamlessly combine both the material and spiritual realm in your research. In particular, she emphasized that it is impossible to conduct fundamental research without knowing the fundamental energy, 주인공.
하지만 아까 교수님들도 말씀하셨다시피
As many presenters said that now we are facing a new paradigm and new vision.
코끼리를 장님이 만졌을 때 과학자가 단지 내가 봤던 그때의 소스 아니면 내가 알고 있는 지식
We know
안에서만
part of everything, so we cannot say we know everything. So we get to know more then we will get to know better. When we try to understand more about spiritual realm, and our science will develop broader. That's what Hanmaum Science Institute is trying to achieve. Hans Küng and Seon Master Daehaeng suggested a way of living togetherness through the paradigm shift and suggested to let go of the selfish life. Seon Master Daehaeng said that true science is not only trying to seek for material benefits, but for making research that benefits all living beings in the world. This has great implications for us today. As we all know that living togetherness is very important. What we can do for our earth is very important. But we are caught by what we can get from the business. So we need to science to benefit all of us. This current trend of science is focusing on mankind, but we need to research more than that. We need to develop more than that. Benefiting us, not just human beings and all the beings. No matter what we do, what kind of research we do, if we observe the world carefully and are concerned with the benefit to all living beings, we will be able to recover the lost value of the living togetherness and put it into practice. This will be the truth of living togetherness as a true human being, as emphasized by Hans Küng and Seon Master Daehaeng. Thank you.
네, 스님 발표 감사합니다. 저는 스님께 목차에서 그 한스킹 신부님하고 대행 큰 스님을 현대 종교 혁신가 이렇게 타이틀을 잡아주셔서 사실 이렇게 굉장히 이렇게 약간 처음에는
Thank you very much for the presentation. At first, we were not really accustomed to and used to the teachings of the Hans Küng. But while listening to your presentation, I realized that there are a lot of commonalities between the teachings of these two master and the priest. And also, both of them suggested the great teachings that could benefit human beings at the time of crisis. And also, I was very impressed by your presentation about how the Seon Master Daehaeng put your teachings into practice by establishing the scientific research center. And we would like to entertain one or two questions if time is available. Do you have any questions? Yes, so the Master Hasan.
Yes,
so I am Master Hasan. I really enjoyed your presentation. So you talked about the Hans Küng's theory and also the Master Daehaeng theory, and also you compared these two. Whether it's the responses to the time of crisis, I believe that the Hans Küng theory, according to my understanding, is that he strives to apply the global ethics. But I think that there are no clear specific ways on how to put them into practice. Whereas the Seon Master Daehaeng, he believed that the world has to have a spiritual and the materialistic aspect, both of them, and all should be united as the Hanmaum. So in that sense, I think that the two people do have some differences. I believe that the Hans Küng theory actually sets the background of the Seon Master Daehaeng's 정관 theory. So at this time of the global crisis, you see, as you could see from the COVID-19 and also the climate change, but what will be the religious responses? in order to live a proper life in these precarious times. So regarding the global crisis, I was wondering, like, how other people or the leaders of other religions are talked about. And I studied the Hans Küng when I stayed in Germany for a short period of time. And both of them, yes, they have different arguments and different opinions. And so Hans Küng has his own thoughts, and he claimed he made the arguments for what he believed. And you can see that Catholics and the Hans Küng, they established the World Ethics Research Institute, and they thought about how to apply ethics to economy, politics, and many other fields of the society, and how religion can help people. Not in the religious terms, but with the ideals of the religion. How can they put the religious ideals into practice? And they actually provided a lot of lectures in layman's language. And so for the same situation, rather at this time of the pandemic crisis, Catholic believes that there should be the global ethics, and that could be a sort of the minimal beacon that we have to follow to cope with the future stresses. Whereas in Korea, the Sun Master Daehaeng, she didn't really make the specific proposal, but while we pass through the materialistic world, we have to be aware of the spiritual world as well. Otherwise, we will be faced by a lot of crisis. And so for this, the 주인공 관법 is critical. And also the 5 common needs have to be understood. So if you understand the principle of these 5 common needs, and if we practice the 관법, then we could understand and have some light, enlightenment on the spiritual world. So we have a lot of great theories, but many of them are not really put into practice. But while listening to the presentation, I was very impressed. And so as a disciple of the Sun Master Daehaeng, I had this question, and thank you very much for your great answer. Let me add some comment on that. So I think the first premise that we have to follow is at this time of global crisis, we have to understand why are we encountering this crisis. And for this, we actually didn't know our heart, our mind. So we have to study our mind. And in order to study the mind, I thought about how I can explain this concept in this international conference, because yes, we have to study mind and we have to do the practice. And we don't really need this kind of international conference for meditation or for a daily practice. But since we're having this international conference, I thought that I have to make some logical presentation, make my presentation efficient in a pretty short period of time. So.
네, 선생님 발표 감사합니다. 네.